Hello folks, something slightly different today to show you. We're having a play, so not sustainability, although this very much feeds into a sustainable workflow. Come through and I'll take you into our R&D gallery that we're having a play with something a little bit special. And I'm going to have a sit down with our technical director, Michael Beaumont, to explain what it's all about. Right, so I'm here with Michael Beaumont, Michael Fez Beaumont. He's had that nickname that we created 25 years ago. Anyway, so he's known in the industry quite a lot as Fez. Hello.
Hello.
What are you doing?
Today we're looking at software-defined production and how we can change the design of our outside broadcast trucks going forward. Looking at new technology, new ways of pushing the boundaries, new ways of working, and new ways of operating remotely. Okay, so is this remote production? This is not the traditional method of remote production. This is on-site signals all stay on site. So that maintains the quality, maintains the latency, keeps all that down. The processing is all on site, but the control is remoted.
And what's the benefit of that compared to traditional remote production?
The bandwidth requirement is much, much lower. This that we're doing here is only using about 50 megs of data for all the video and the control, which means we can be much more agile, much more go to places without massive, large connectivity.
So what we are doing here is we've got an traditional outside broadcast at Thruxton for ITV. So we've got signals coming in, well no, we've got monitoring coming in from Thruxton, but all the signals are kept on site. We have one of our brand new trucks for a very special league, for a very special customer at Thruxton that are taking the signals in from the traditional OB, and we are using this software-defined system. So basically all these signals are going into a PC, an 8-year-old PC, I believe.
It's not the newest PC, I will admit.
But it's an 8-year-old PC, which is replicating the functions of vision mixing and replay and multi-viewing. All those functions normally be in individual bits of hardware. So we're here in Ripley in Derbyshire now. We were down there yesterday, the truck switched on there. And we are sat here looking at a monitor stack with signals on it, with replay on it, and we've got a vision mixer panel here that we can cut those signals in the truck. So we've also got our friends from SSL who've kindly come along to investigate the audio side of things. So we've got an SSL audio core in the truck, and we've got a physical audio panel here that you could mix the show on. So effectively, we could be, latency aside, anywhere in the world. We're best part of 200 miles apart at the moment from where the OB is, but it's keeping the signals on site and keeping everything light. So this is not new, is it? But this
is not new
in its infancy.
But it is. I think the software defined workflow is in its infancy. It is out there. It is being used, but I think it's being used. We need to look at the ways that it is currently being used, how it's been implemented, and new ways and new things that this opens up, new ways of working this opens up. There are other methods out there, but I think one of the key drives for me is to keep a physical control surface.
Yes.
I think, yes, we could do some of this on touch screens and different options like that, but having a traditional control surface that people are used to, that directors and people get the responsive feedback from a physical control surface, I think is key.
So yeah, we've got a hardware vision mixer panel here, and we've also got a hardware replay controller over there. So, and this is what we call a pop-up gallery, because there's very little infrastructure here, is there, apart from the physical interfaces?
There is no big server room hidden anywhere. This is all running to a very small rack of equipment in there, which is just basically a couple of PCs, and that's it. All of this connects directly to the truck through the public internet. No special connectivity required.
No, I think that's really interesting, because it means that we can actually distribute the outside broadcast. So we could have a replay operator at home. We could have a director and a producer here in a gallery and a PA. sound person, there's a physical console that they're operating, so they'll probably be either here or they could be on site. They could be anywhere. I think this is the point, isn't it? Is we can now, because of this technology, because you're not doing a traditional remote production where you're bringing signals into a PCR or whatever, we can do it anywhere.
Remotely anywhere.
Okay. So anything, anywhere.
Yeah. And I think this system also allows us to have, as you've seen, control panels in the truck working directly to the hardware or remotely. I think that's quite key.
So that means we can get the best ops who may not be able potentially to travel to site, or we can mitigate some of the cost of travelling to site, work-life balance, but also means potentially we could get operators working on several productions. Football match is 2 hours long, so we could have them working on a football production and then another football production, what have you, and so we can get best value out of the people by flexing the technology. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
But do you see this working at the top end of things? Because at the moment it seems to be working kind of tier 2 sport.
I think we have to be careful where we bring this into the market. I think it has its place. Currently, its place, I would say, is probably leans more towards a tier 2. But as this technology grows and gets more widely adopted, as more vendors come into this platform, I think it will only grow.
I think it's worth mentioning we're using Grass Valley's AMP here. We've got a great relationship with Grass Valley, and they have their AMP, AMPP infrastructure and sort of. But it's not a walled garden, is it? You can use and pick and choose best of breed.
Yes, I think it used to be a bit of a walled garden, but now things like MXL, the DMF stuff is coming out. That I'm seeing that walled garden open up. So now we can pick from multiple vendors. Or in the future, we can pick from multiple vendors, pick the best of breed, as we have done for years. That is what we have done for many years. This shouldn't be any different. I think the key difference is that we're not now investing in massive infrastructure, heavy infrastructure, that is bespoke to one particular task. The servers that we've bought today could be doing vision mixing, tomorrow could be doing audio, the following day multi-viewing.
And there has been talk of that in bits of bespoke hardware. So we were, one of the first users of the Neuron. It was Axon, now EVS, and the idea was that you could change the software that's running in a Neuron on the fly, but it's very much kind of plumbed into a traditional infrastructure, which makes that presumably more difficult.
It is a bit more difficult, but also it could only run EVS or Axon software. Right. The server that is commonly off the shelf, nothing special. COTS finally is a thing. Yeah. Yes, currently today I'm running the Grass Valley AMP solution, but if in a year's time there's another competitor that's better, we can use the same hardware.
But that's it. We obviously we've got a lot of hardware, but we invest in hardware and then we want to use that hardware to pay it off and make a profit. But this opens up the opportunity for us to use whatever we want, when we want, at that moment. We can just fire it up for that moment.
We can, with minimal's perhaps not the wrong word, but less upfront investment. We can rent or hire servers if necessary at fairly short notice.
So like this, we're actually not incurring any costs at the moment for playing with this. We've got some hardware that we've got off the shelf, but we are using this software in demo mode with the backing of Grass Valley, so we can play with it and do stuff with it.
Yeah, but also I think let's just explore the cloud route. So a couple of years ago, everything was cloud. People have now realised that that's quite expensive. The costs of that do start to rack up. And I think, yes, it has its place, but in this instance where the key driving factor is minimising that bandwidth requirement on site, having our own servers running on site, some call it a small on-site on-prem cloud, mitigates those costs, keeps them under control, and key.
So fortunately for us as an outside broadcast provider, we've still got to provide cameras to site.
We do.
We've got to provide a vehicle to site, power to site, but this means we can do it much more nimbly, and for sustainability, which I'm a big fan of, we can run things off battery, not running big, heavy power for air conditioning for people, but we're still providing that service around it.
We are, and I think the power requirements and more importantly heating or cooling requirements for this sort of equipment is significantly less than a more traditional outside broadcast truck.
So it's interesting, you're saying we can, it's more cost effective to run the hardware on site on our own servers, but we still have that flex into the cloud. We can fire up an AWS server to do some more.
If we needed a burst, suddenly a weekend where we need loads of replay channels that we don't have the capacity of the servers on site, we could burst that up into AWS. Yes, we'd incur a bit of charge, but in the scheme of things, that probably works out a good idea.
Right, you've mentioned replay. So I want to just reconvene over at the replay controller, because I think this is really important. And where's all our signals gone? We've
Looks like they're in white balance.
White balance on site. Brilliant. So we lost all of our. We've got one track camera left, but I just want to see how the replay works, because for you and I, who've been EVS operators of old, we're used to a very responsive, right back to 20 years ago, a very responsive platform, and we are essentially, this replay controller we'll have a look at now is controlling the replay in the truck.
Correct.
But we're seeing it here 200 miles away, and because we played a lot during COVID, didn't we, sort of trying to see how we could get EVS off site and people operating remotely. But actually, I think this achieves it. So we'll just reconvene over there and have a look. So here we are, we're just over at the replay controller. We've got our pictures back because they've stopped white balancing on site, so the cameras might match a bit better. But we're here with Live Touch. Correct.
Yeah, so this is a Live Touch controller. I think what's interesting about this workflow is that here I'm looking at a screen on nothing more complicated than just a standard PC. Yes, we have the remote, but this is operating a service that's running on the servers that are in the truck directly with minimal latency. This feels like a normal replay.
So this machine is 200 miles away in Thruxton.
Correct. And it's just part of the servers that are currently running all the rest of the applications.
Well, to be fair, it's one server.
Okay, one server.
Well, we've got 10 cameras coming in. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah. So
we've got one server.
two servers.
Two servers.
Two servers.
Well, we've got two servers.
There's quite a lot of signals.
Okay, fine. But you've meshed those two servers together.
Those two servers appear as one node within the network.
No, but this is important, isn't it? Because you can scale this.
You can scale this. Yeah. So should we need more, we just put more servers on that network.
Okay.
So this is scalable to as many servers as you want in reality. So here we have a replay controller. It's currently got 4 inputs, but we could have more if necessary. And operates like a standard remote.
So I've been known to be quite boisterous with manufacturers who are trying to produce something that's not EVS.
He has.
But I've had a little play with this, and I can say it is. You can scroll that back. I can run that in. It feels just like a standard replay controller. We've got a clutch on the jog shuttle wheel. Every manufacturer who's brought out something never puts a clutch on this. Here's looking at you, Luke Deneau. And we've finally got a clutch here, which is great, because when you play something, you don't want to accidentally knock that jog shuttle. It just provides the confidence. But as a EVS replay operator of old, I can say that this feels exactly how it should do, and yet the machine is 200 miles away.
It is. And also, I think the point that we made earlier is this doesn't have to be here. This could be at home, in somebody's bedroom. The bandwidth requirements are very minimal for this.
It's not just the bandwidth requirements, it's the infrastructure requirements.
And the infrastructure.
You don't have to build a replay centre. We just need to have a laptop and send one of these controllers and a decent internet connection, and you're up and running. I think what I found really interesting as well is that you can build. You're running in a web browser there, aren't you?
Basically, yeah, it is just a web browser.
So you can build different views for the operator. You can basically give them any multi-viewer from the truck.
Yep.
It's that age-old thing where you set up a position for a replay operator. Like, I want to see this. I want to see this. Oh, right, okay. And you have to go into the software and change the multi-viewer or give them another multi-viewer. You can build this in software as much as you like.
Correct.
Will it stop EVS operators moaning?
No.
No. Okay, fine. Just checking. But yeah, for me, I think this is, and we can get across any input that would be, so that one node that you've created, all of those signals going in, this operator could get across any of them.
Correct. And also the other slight difference between competitors is you can have as many controllers looking at the same record trains.
Yeah.
So you could have six of these all looking at the same record trains. You can get across your own group of cameras. You can create your own groups. So I only want to look at a couple of cameras, or you could look at them all.
So we don't need to configure, we don't have to have multiple inputs going into multiple machines and burning channels because they're all available to everyone.
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I've just sat down briefly, had a little play with this as an EVS operator of old. I'd struggled to save a clip initially, but then it got pretty easy, marking in, marking out, press an empty slot on the touchscreen and it will save a clip. So in, out, save. That's right, in, out, save. It saves it. But to queue it up, I just select, double tap that, and it's queued, and I can roll that clip. I'm sure it's got all the playlist functions and whatever. There we go, that we'd want to know. Go live. There's a few buttons in a different place, but that's a pretty solid bit of kit. We're going to carry on playing, and then we're going to sounds. You're going to have a play with SSL. The SSL chap here to get sound, because sound's often the difficult thing because you want no latency. You can't just have a little bit of latency when you're doing ears on site for presenters and things like this. You need to have no latency, so keeping the signals on site, keeping the core on site allows us to build all that.
It negates all those issues that you have of remote latency and all that.
Okay. Great. So we're going to spend the rest of the day playing and we'll see where we get to, but it is working and we're doing it, and would love to deploy it for anyone who wants this workflow. Cheers. Thank you.